I don't even know why I'm tearing up right now. I just think we go through life thinking we have a handle on stuff. But there's so much going on under the surface. And that's what a lot of this was about.
So today we have Barbara Ireland on the program, and you had a near-death experience while attending an extreme camp of some kind. Can you please share your experience with us?
So I was working on a singing career at the time, and I was on tour with my friend Stone Gossard, who's one of the guitar players for Pearl Jam. We were on stage. There was a one man in the very front. He was clearly not enjoying this. And this flood of negative thoughts about myself grew and amplified. What am I even doing here? I can't sing. I can't perform. I look crappy, like everything. It just went through the entire show. I was laying in bed that night thinking about all those negative thoughts, those mean things that were being constantly said in my head about myself. And that's when I hatched this grand idea to go to one of those camps that will push boundaries, develop courage, get over the hurdles of, what you think you can and can't do. So I signed up for one of these places. It's in this remote area of Vancouver Island, and I dragged my best friend along with me, and we signed very frightening liability forms and then non-disclosure forms. So I can't tell you exactly what we did, but I like to give hints. So this was a week-long experience. Every day was so intense that I ate mounds of food and I lost weight. It was out in the sun, sleep deprivation, heights, blindfolding, carrying heavy objects for long periods. And the worst for me were these scary men who would jump out to freak you out, I guess get you more comfortable with dealing with emergency situations. I understand the concept behind that, but as a very petite woman, and for actually all the women especially, we were freaked out by that. That was not a good thing. The last day was this endurance experience in the sun. At that point, I hadn't slept much, so my body was worn out. Halfway through this endurance experience, I started noticing very strange sensory rambling. I couldn't discern very well what my teammate was saying to me. It was all muddled and warbled and unintelligible to me. Flashes of light, wobbly legs, dizziness. Sounds were going like echoey and nightmarish. As I go through the finish line, there's people on either side clapping and so excited for us, but it didn't look all happy to me. It looked like a nightmare. I said, okay, this is frightening. So I asked for a first aid person, a medic. And the man that came just took one look at me and the color went out of his face. I was gray, dark circles, vacant eyes. I couldn't walk by myself. He took blood pressure and all that, and he kept looking more and more nervous. He was not a freaking medic. He looked like someone that had a CPR training, which is helpful. He did give me electrolytes. Two things that I've later found out were going on. One was heat stroke. So I was literally having stroke symptoms, which was all the effects of these different sensory alterations. More seriously for me was hyponatremia, which is when you wash the salt out of your blood by drinking too much water and sweating too much, which I'd done the entire week. This medic guy said, well, let's just bring you back to your tent. It was too hot to be in my tent. So he laid me under this tree. My friend found me. I'm lying under this tree, just her and me. And I feel first my left leg goes away. I did not feel my left leg anymore. The next leg did that. All the while, I am starting to scream to her, my leg, then my left arm, then my right. I have no feeling in any of my limbs. All I can sense of who I am as Barbara was a torso and a head laying under this tree. That's when these amazing movies began. It was like a memory of something that had happened in my life, but I was watching it like a movie and I was in it at the exact same time. So I could sense everything in the room. I could hear the sounds. I could hear my thoughts. I could feel the emotions, but I was also observing. It was a moment, I was in another band with my brother, and it was 2 weeks earlier at a band rehearsal where we had a conflict. And it played this image for not long, maybe 20 seconds, and then it freeze framed at this one moment. And this voice I'd never heard before in my head, it was not out here, it was a male, gentle voice, said, "What were you thinking at that moment?" And that was so startling. I stopped crying and I was like, what's going on? But I knew what I was thinking because I was in that moment at the same time. I answered it, and as soon as I answered, the movie went off, and then the movie started playing of a month earlier. In that one, I raised my eyebrow at something someone said, and it freeze framed. What were you thinking that caused you to raise your eyebrow? 4 hours of this version of a life review. One moment after another moment. I don't even know why I'm tearing up right now. I just think we go through life thinking we have a handle on stuff. But there's so much going on under the surface. And that's what a lot of this was about. So these went on with question after question for 4 hours. At the end of these movies, it suddenly was blank. And the voice said, "Barbara, now you have a choice to make. Would you like to stay or go?" Right as that first movie began, I was feeling this air moving out the top of my head. I noticed it actually before that movie began. And I knew enough, I'd read enough about spiritual things to know that when we die, our life energy leaves the top of our head. I could feel it like a puff of air continually moving out of the top of my head. This was going the whole time like a leak. I was very close to death. I had 1 foot here, 1 foot there. I didn't do the tunnel. I didn't do that because I never 100% left my body. But I will tell you that when you're feeling what's on the other side, you can't help but, like I am right now, feel emotional about it because we do not have the kind of love that is over there. And when I was given that choice, I was like, wow, I want to go there. But I still had a foot here. I still had thoughts about this reality. And so I started asking questions of this guide about my life here. I said, well, what about my unfinished albums and my screenplays and short stories? And the voice was like, oh, Barbara, they don't matter that much. I was like, what do you mean they don't matter? I still had enough of an ego to feel that. But it said, what really matters is your relationships. How do you show up for other people? And that's like even walking into a coffee shop or getting on a bus or going to a family holiday thing where you know you're going to be challenged maybe or triggered by people. How do you move into that space with as much kindness and love and presence as you can possibly do? How do you leave spaces? What kind of wake do you leave behind you? This guide was saying, the projects I create, if they make me happy, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with making neat things that make me happy. But the ones that really matter are the ones that connect me to other people, or that person to another person, or that person who heard the music or read the story or whatever it is to themselves. When I heard that, I said, okay, I could alter some of what I'm doing or I could just let it go. Didn't matter. But then I thought about people I have unfinished business with. And that was my biggest draw to return. I decided to come back. And when I did, he said, okay, you can come back, but you have to do something for me. The first week you're back, you have to visit 3 different people and tell them these specific things. And the 4th person, you need to call once a week for even 5 minutes and start making reconnection with that person. And Alan, I can't tell you what that advice did for me. And I really hope that anyone watching this really takes this to heart, because we don't know when we're trying to be dying. We don't know when our loved ones or close people, even if we're not, they don't feel like love at this point. We don't know when they're going to die. We have a chance to clean some stuff up with them. The person I was to call every week, within a very short period of time, like a couple months, this burgeoning warmth and connectedness started appearing. And when that person died a year and a half ago, it was like pure love between us. The other 3 people, 2 I was supposed to say love, how I loved them. 1 was also a forgiveness I needed to give, an apology. And the 3rd one was expressing gratitude. All of these are not done lightly. I was instructed how to do them. You tell them what their presence has meant to you in your life. What have you learned from them? What life would have been like possibly without them? Any apologies, just get them cleaned up. You will be so sad with regret if you don't have that chance. So I said, yes, I would do those 4 things. The moment I said that of life energy just started straight back into my body. Each of my limbs came online, and I opened my eyes to this earthly plane that we get to play, and we take it for granted and we forget. So for a whole month, I felt that level of extreme bliss here, of experience this world from fresh eyes. We wake up every morning and we have a moment to start our day differently, realizing we get another chance here. And when you open your eyes, instead of going straight into how much you hate your job or how much your body is hurting or whatever it is, your money problems, you can open your eyes and listen for the bird. You can hear the rainfall. You can feel being in your body, which will not last forever. Many near-death experiencers have said when they were on the other side, they saw a line of souls waiting to get here. It's hard here, no doubt about it. That's why we came here. This line of souls wants to get here because this is where we challenge ourselves and grow the most. We grow so quickly here because it's hard. We get to find out what we are capable of because we have so much pressing against what we think we're capable of. And when we start breaking through those blocks and we go, wow, I am more than I thought, and you start to actually experience that, it's really amazing. So if you're here, you won the lottery. Honestly, there are many, many people, and especially at this time, there's some intense stuff going on. And we chose to come here for some reason right now. So just kind of keep that in mind on those hard days. So after this month of bliss, I started had been listening to music through my whole body. I'd been eating with full consciousness. Well, now I'm listening while I'm doing something else. Now I'm smelling half the flowers on the block instead of every flower on the block. Now I'm eating while I'm doing something else. And my negative thoughts started coming back. A lot of them were worry. That was my kryptonite. Worry, worry, worry about a family member, about things going on in the world, about what people thought of me, self-criticism, self-doubt, judgment. I was actually very mad. I said I went through this camp. I did therapy. I had a near-death experience, and I still have these thoughts. When you think about what my near-death experience was about, this is showing direct connection between my thoughts and my experience in life. They are completely parallel. They're related. So if I am looping consciously or unconsciously on a negative thought, a negative outcome, a resentment, it's holding into place an old pattern, an old program that I've had in my mind since who knows how long, decades. Because a belief is just a thought you think over and over and over until it's cemented into the subconscious. So how do we change our lives? We change these loops that are holding the program in place. And if you can break these loops, you start opening up these misbeliefs, these things that are harming you and harming other people around you, relationships, health, your money, your success levels. Everything is around this stuff. I dove at that point into a 3-year study of the mind, thoughts, neuroscience, cellular biology, how we become addicted to certain emotions, physically addicted to that brain chemistry of fear or jealousy or resentment. After 3 years of really studying this, I taught myself how to break these patterns, these cycles of looping. And that's what I call the Delooping Method. That's what I wrote my book about, how to do that. And I started feeling better dramatically quickly. I had been on antidepressants for years. I was off of them. All my relationships improved. Every one of them improved, including the relationship with myself, big time. 3 very quick steps that they can do when they get a negative thought going into their head. The first one is to notice it. And that's half the battle, or more than half the battle, because so much is unconscious. Start noticing if there's an area in your life that is problematic, relationship or money, health, whatever it is. Make an intention to start noticing all the thoughts about that one person or money or whatever it is. Even write them down if you're really wanting to do this deeply. So start noticing the thoughts. That's detect. The second step is detach. I give 2 ways in my book to do that. One is give it a name. Like that's a mind loop. That negative thought about that person, that's a mind loop, or that's a resentment, or that's a negative thought. Doesn't matter what you call it. I talk about research done at UCLA, how that literally calms down the amygdala in the brain, the fight, flight, freeze part, just calms it down. And then the third step, and you can do all these really, really quickly, one night right after the other. The third one is detour. And that's put your mind purposely on something else. That could be playing ping pong, petting a dog, singing, anything, just to move the thought consciously to something else. And if you do just those first 3 steps, you're going to feel quickly better, quickly. And then the last step in the book, it's more It's more piecing apart the stories you're telling about something. And so you can start seeing it from a different point of view. And by the way, if people go to my website, they can sign up for a free 10 days of emails. Each one is a different tip to help you deloop. They're very practical, very short, usable. So, and the book comes with a free workbook and this other thing. So yeah, there's all sorts of fun things in there.
Perfect. Wonderful. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, I guess, before we go?
When you think about what my near-death experience was about, this is showing that our thoughts are creating our experience. If millions of people are in fear and anger, guess what we are creating from a collective consciousness? A world of fear and anger and violence and unkindness. This is a very, very key moment in human history. We are on a cusp to move into a massively spiritual, very beautiful, love-filled world, or into something hellish and violent. And we're right here, right now. Many of us feel like we don't have any ability to change anything, like we have no control over it. And in many ways, we don't over the outer world. But we have control over our minds, our own responses, our hearts, and we can do three things: deloop fear and resentment and disharmony so that we're not projecting this or feeling it. We can enjoy life and play as much as possible, because the more we enjoy it and are scrunched up in our face and angry, worried, when we're like, I'm just going to let that go a minute and go play some ping pong or walk my dog, we start settling down the nervous system. We start expressing a whole different energetic field to everyone around us and to our own experience of this game, dream, movie, whatever it is that this life we're in is. We'll start changing shape. And the third thing was express more kindness in general. Just, can you be more kind in general? That is what's missing from this world, is kindness.